Hello and welcome to another episode of Treasure Hunting America. I'm your host, Mark Hendricks. For the next half hour, we'll share some amazing stories of everyday treasure hunters across the country discovering vast antiquities and caches of yesteryear. Our first story takes us to Marysville, California. It's here that Vernon Mack combines his love of flying and treasure hunting.
Well, the way I got into metal detecting is my brother got for his Christmas present back in the early 80s, little 4,000 whites, and he brought it over to my folks' place, and he says, "I want to show you what I got here." So I said, "Wow." I said, "What does it do?" And he says, "It's a metal detector." And I said, "Well, let's go." So we went down to this park, and it was getting toward the evening, and we just dug up one quarter after another. I said, "I can't believe this." I said, "Where do you get these at?" From that on, I just developed the habit, learned how to do it, and through trial and error, began to get involved in metal detecting, and it's just been a great sport. After a while, you become addicted to it, and every time you dug something up out of the ground, you simply didn't know what it was going to be. It just absolutely is just like opening a Christmas present every day of the year.
Jim lives in California's rich Sacramento Valley, just outside of Marysville. This can be a great place to hunt for special coins and relics relating to the California gold rush.
The reason that I like to hunt around Marysville and Yuba City area is that the fork of the river between the Yuba and the Feather River is where all the old boats come up and carried the miners up to the jumping off place.
Also known as California's oldest little city, Marysville was incorporated in 1850. Its growth was due to the thousands of gold miners who made their way up the Yuba and Feather Rivers to hunt for their life's fortunes in the Sierra foothills. Anticipated as the New York of the Pacific, Marysville didn't quite reach the mega city status, but it's still a great place for hunting for artifacts left behind by the 49ers.
And they were just countless ends of mule trails and wagons and all kinds of things. In the process, they lost a lot of things in this area, and so it's an old town with a rich history of old things in it. There, it looks like a dime. It says 2 inches deep. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's in there. Let's see what we got here. There it is, right there. Nice little silver dime. That's what it's all about. That's what you enjoy doing. When you dig in the ground, you never know what you're going to find.
Because he's well known in the area, Jim sometimes gets called in on some unusual hunting assignments.
We have a historical museum here in Marysville, and I continually get calls to donate my time to find casket markers down there. It's quite involved. You have to wherever you find the marker, you have to identify where it's at and then catalog it. So it kind of takes the fun out of metal detecting, although it is a volunteer for the graveyard down there. I've taken guys out that have bought metal detectors, and we'll go along and pick up probably 10 or 15 coins in a matter of 30 minutes or less. And they just can't believe that there's so many things that have been lost that they try to accuse me of planting the coins, which I don't do. I tell them I got better things to do than plant coins. And once they get the hang of it, they just become hooked. They eat, sleep, and talk metal detecting.
As a treasure hunter, Jim is always looking for new adventure and hunting opportunities.
There's a network of guys that I associate with, and we all like to metal detect, and there's one in particular. And right now we're researching the railroads that are going across the Sierra Pacific, and he's looking up where the old miners used to camp, not miners, but the construction workers. They were Chinese construction workers over the Sierra Pacific, and they were just thousands of them up there, and they all got paid a small portion, but it's all in gold coins, as I understand. It wasn't very much. It was like $1 a day or $2 a day. It was a very low nomination, but the number of possibilities by being so many people working on that railroad, somebody lost something. Some of the silver coins I'm real proud of is the $50 I've dug up. And over the years, I got almost a complete collection of them here of the different generations, starting with the Kennedy $50 and then working down to the Franklin $50, the Walking Liberty $50, and the Barber $50. And then the proudest one here is let's see, it's 1876 seated $50 I found. And that's the year that Custer's Last Stand was in, is 1876, so it's quite significant. On the oldest one, I can tell you this one here was down on 12th Street in Marysville, and they were doing a parking lot and getting ready to blacktop it the next day. I went down there that night right at dusk, and I went over it with my metal detector, and I got a nice reading, and I kicked it with the toe of my shoe, and it come out of the ground. That's how close they were when they scraped the lot. But it was just really a thrill to find something that was back in the 1800s and being so old like that, especially around Marysville when it was only incorporated in 1853.
Jim's love of treasure hunting has always combined with his love for flying. Having his own plane gives him quite the advantage in scoping out new sites.
One of the things that I have is I've got a Mooney that I fly in. I used to have a Cessna, and I used it to great advantage while I metal detect. And the secret is we go down and get a state map down at the recording, and we would look up to see where all the old houses were. And in doing that, the houses are long gone by now. But when you fly over them and look down, you can see the outline either of some trees or an old foundation or some kind of a driveway or something. And then we use that then as markers on where to go and how to dig up coins and look for coins. We went down to Woodland, and I found probably about 3 silver dimes and 1 Barber dime, I think it was. So we had success there, and it was just a lot of fun. What we're doing is not only the love of flying, but the love of metal detecting, and it gives me an opportunity to do both of them at the same time.